Welcome back to our Scala class. On our day 6 lectures we will talk about SQL. Again, getting back to our SQL, and we'll do a little SQL murder mystery. It's a great exercise to get some of the refresh your knowledge of SQL. Again, so we'll go through again we'll be using SQLite database, and we'll go through it, and hopefully we'll get some answers. Okay, so it's the site is actually mysterynightlab.com, but for your use, for your ease of use, I have added the files to our repository actually already. So our IntelliJ actually has it already. Our Scala to Spark repository already has the basic reference, including our SQL murder mystery. So what's the story? So story is that there is it's a way to practice skills. So basically there's been a murder apparently around January 15th 2018. It's in SQL City, and well, we'll just need to go through the SQL database and find, well, the guilty person, right? So again, of course, we'll need to have queries, right, like this, right? Okay, but we'll use it, I think we'll use dbeaver. You can use something else if you have already some other SQL some SQL software, such as some other database viewer or query builder. You can use that, but dbeaver is just definitely a fine choice, and we used it before. So let's load it up. So I already have opened up the SQL dbeaver, right? And remember, refresher, how to make a new connection, new database connection. SQLite, right? We go next, and in this case, right, since I assume you already have pulled from our repository, we need to find where in the world this database file lives. So browse, we'll go to our GitHub, my GitHub folder, and we have our Scala. Not this one also would work, of course, but Scala to Spark, and source, resources, and there we go. About 3 megabytes, not too big, not too bad, right? So source, resource, and that's where you have it actually. In fact, I'm thinking actually I should have made it a database. Maybe I'll move it afterwards for now, but for now we'll leave it in resource. Okay, and let's open it up, and let's finish, right? So we are ready to finish. Source, resource, SQL murder mystery, and we are going to finish. And let's take a look what's inside, right? And let's take a look at tables, right? And of course, usual, this view is usually better if you look at the ER diagram, you know, entity relationship diagram. So let's take a look. So things are, so we are tasked of providing a solution right here, right? Again, you can't just check the solution here, it won't work like this. So you need to get fit now. There's some get fit now member, there's a person, there's an interview, there's a Facebook event check-in, there's a driver's license, and there's a crime scene report. There's an income, and there's a solution. Right, so let's see if we can take a look at solution, of course, right? Maybe there's a solution already. That would be easy way to do it, right? So I'll press Control, and I pressed pressing in dbeaver, pressing Control or Command on Mac, right? Control opens a query window, a query, you know, basically a window for creating queries, basically SQL editor. Let's see, yeah, new SQL script, blank SQL script. Okay, so select all from, well, what is it called? Solution. Do we have solution? Maybe that's the easy way to, well, maybe we shouldn't do this, right? But it's worth trying. It's worth trying. Why not? Right? I believe it's not as easy, right? From solution, right? Tab, right? Come on. Nothing. There's nothing. So actually, yeah, there's nothing in there actually. So we are actually tasked to enter this solution. So that's how it actually works. So where is more page? Right here, right? So we are actually right? So here's our first hint, right? This is our first hint, right? We couldn't just jump ahead, right? First of all, we could do this query. This is something actually nice query to check. If you didn't have this type of database, remember we can do select. We can do this, right? Select name from SQLite master where type is table, right? Let's check this one. And yes, so you can see all these. So even if you write a program, again, you could get all the tables in here, right? So if you needed some way of getting tables, this is the way you do it in a program, right? So that's also a way of doing it, right? Okay, so that's already a good hint. So again, I'll put a link to this up. So mystery, right? Okay, like this, right? And so we have a tables, right? So we need, of course, looks like we need the crime scene report, right? Well, that's again. So apparently there's some more. So the information we have is that there is a murder mystery, right? There's a crime, and right. Let's think that we are experienced, right? So vaguely, right? So a crime has taken, right? So this is our start. This is our start. Let's see if we can do this. Right, this is a lot of code, right? Right. Okay. Okay, so something. Okay, looks like this. All these hints, right? So these are the hints. All right, so let's look at the murders, right? So we can start like this. Select all from crime scene report, right? And we can do, of course, limit, right? Let's do limit, but let's try it. Let's see how many are there, right? Limit 20, right? Okay, well, looks like there's a date, there's a robbery, a man dressed as a Spider-Man is a robbery spree in New York City. So we know what? We know it's an SQL city, right? And it's around January 15th, 2018. Okay, first of all, we see this strange, well, the date is actually a big number. Okay, that's the way it happens sometimes, right? And also we need three, so our select needs to be, well, sometime on January 15 to 8. It looks like this date is year, months, and, well, date, right? There's also different types. We can check, of course, types. So you can see there's the murdery. There's different types. You should be able to see them. Date, right? Murder, description. Of course, right? So we need SQL city. We need the murder, and we need the date, right? So I think you can do this, right? So we do this. Select, right? Select all from crime scene report. Right, where date is equal 2018/01/15. Again, it's numeric date in this case, and we know this already. Type, of course, this is kind of type equals murder, right? And city equals, well, SQL city, right? SQL city. Let's see if this works. Yes, excellent. Looks like we got a single hit again. So, well, again, this is a relatively easy mystery, right? So we don't have to, well, at least the start is easy, right? So we have what? Let's look at this. Right, so we want description. So if we only want description, how do we do this? Remember, SQL, select all from, I really recommend doing this along with me, from description. So this, I'll copy this exactly, but I will just want the description, right? On description, right? So description, right, so this is our text. We could, of course, download, right? So there's two. So first witness lives at the last house on Northwestern Drive. Second witness named Annabelle lives somewhere on Franklin Avenue. Again, so not much to go on, but should be enough. Again, assuming our nice city database is, well, this database is sufficient. So let's look at the first witness. Last house on Northwestern Drive. Okay, so what do we have here? We have person, right? And they have address, right? An address, street name, an address number. Okay. Right, so we need the last person, right? So we will need a last person, and then we can get interview. So let's look at this. Again, this has been a while. I don't know if I remember it correctly. Maybe things have changed, but we see that there is a person ID, so we can get interviews, right? And let's check. Well, of course, let's see. Can we cheat? Of course not. We don't want to cheat, but we want the interviews, right? But let's see. Can we do this? Select all from interview, right? Probably not gonna do it, right? Look at this. It's about, well, at least 200 rows, so this probably not gonna, you can't just select all from interview. Again, it's not that easy. So we need to find these two witnesses, right? Right, I hope you are with me so far. And so we need to find the witnesses, and let's look at the city. I'll run this again, right? Right, I pressed Ctrl Enter. Security footage. So Northwestern Drive. Okay, so we can do this. Select all from person. Right, where on it is. Let's see. Select all from person. Let's look at this. Let's do this first, right? So yes, again, lots of persons, again, 200, at least 200 rows. Again, not something we can do it manually, right? A limit, of course, limit 200, limit 20 would be fine. So we need select all from person, P, where, address, street name, equals, or since I'm lazy, I can't remember, Northwestern, was it? Like, North, let's check. Oh, there's a lot of them. Okay, so there's not Northwestern Drive. So let's do this, right? So that's not enough. So let's do one more. Right, so Northwestern, right? Northwestern. Right, so looks okay. Okay, there's a lot of these people living at Northwestern Drive. Apparently it's a popular location. Right, and we have these social security numbers. I mean, this is American site. Remember, it's like our person ID, right? So, and we have also the actual ID in the database. Okay, so we'll need to find, this was last address, right? So let's look at this. So we need a last address. So how would you do that? You sort by last, right? You would do this. Can I do this? Select no, I can't do this. Unfortunately, there's no copy. Control Z. This doesn't have a copy option, so I'll just do copy and paste option. And, well, we should have, what we're going to do? We're going to order by. Remember, there's order by address, street address number, right? Do we want ascending or descending? Probably descending, right? Right? Yes, we want descending. So this Morty Shapiro should be the person we want, right? So what we could do is, well, let's see. Let's do this. Again, it's all Drive, right? Looks like it's all correct. Cerner looks like the last person in Northwestern Drive. So how would we do this? Just get his name. Of course, we can just copy it here, but we'll do limit 1, right? Limit 1. And yeah, that's the person we want. And well, how would we get it? So that's our first person. That's our first interview, right? So we will want to have an interview, right? And so question is now, we need the person ID. So how would we do these? Let's get the other person. The other person was, let's check. Let's take a look. Or maybe let's start with maybe one witness is enough. So the question is now, do we want to go wide? Do we want to look at many witnesses? So let's go to the first witness. Okay, let's try to do first witness. So what do we need? We have the interviews, right? Let's take a look at our ER diagram. It's a person ID. So question, is it SSN? Well, let's see, or is it the actual ID here? It's not clear here, right? So let's take a look. Let's take a look. All right, again, maybe limit person ID. So this looks like a row ID. Okay, so this certainly looks like a row ID. So of course primary key, which makes sense. In this case, it's interesting. So of course SSN is supposed to be unique for persons. We could have used SSN as a unique ID, but again, of course, better practice, of course, maybe use the specific row ID, which is just generic enough, and there's no, again, no unfortunate maybe database design. You don't want the social security numbers just like your personal IDs in Latvia and Lithuania, right? You don't want them maybe, you know, accidentally falling somewhere where they shouldn't be used, right? So just a generic row ID is fine. Okay, so how do we get this out? So let's take a look. Let's take a look, right? How will we get the ID of this person, right? So we have this Morty Shapiro, right? I'll copy, right? And we can get ID, right? Yeah, so there's an ID. So remember how we are gonna do? We want to get an interview. So we can use this. We could make a separate view. So if this is number, we can use this as part of subquery. We can use this as a subquery. We can use a subquery, right? So let's do this. So select all from interview, right? I, right? And let's put a limit. Where person ID equals, right? I wonder why it's not picking up. Maybe I should probably, because this all this extra stuff. So person ID, person, I think. I keep forgetting what it was. Person ID. Person ID should have picked up. So person ID. Okay, let's do that. It should have been person ID been fine as well. Equals, right? And we are gonna use this subquery, right? This part here. And why does this work? Because we get a single number, right? This is a single number, limit 1, right? And we know this actually works, right? Of course, if we get nothing, that also would work. We would get nothing in back, right? So there's no so this is subquery, right? This will be a number. This will be a number, right? And let's run it, right? Okay, right. So we have a transcript. Let's take a look at this transcript, right? I'll just copy it, Control C, so we can follow this, right? Right. Okay. This looks good. Right. So a gold member, a man is a gold member, so it looks like it's a man. Well, at least it's very suspicious, right? And he has a car, right? And that looks like it, right? So that's our story so far. A gunshot. We saw a man run out. He had a Get Fit Now gym bag. The membership number on the bag started with 48Z. So only gold members have those bags, right? So and the man got in the car with the plate that included H42W. So let's take a look. So we have a driver's license, right? There's a plate number. Okay, so apparently everybody gets a car. Who gets a driver's license gets a car. Again, this is of course obviously simplified for general use, but we also have Get Fit membership database. Again, police is pretty knowledgeable in this SQL city. They know everything about the people's fitness status, right? Again, so a big police state is watching you exercise, but again, this is an exercise, of course, so pun intended. so we can use it. And it looks like there's going to be something to do with Facebook, right? Something also interesting might be to there. So let's try to find the second witness maybe before we proceed. Maybe that's enough to already, or hints, right? So how would we get the second witness? Maybe I can actually get it here when I did it, right? So, right? Oh yeah, so this is the description, Control C, right? And this is our, right? So Annabelle, 2 witnesses. So this is our first witness, and second witness is Annabelle. Let's look at Annabelle, see, maybe she provides somewhere on Franklin Avenue, right? Well, let's see, is that gonna be enough? Well, I think I'll leave maybe, let's proceed deeper in the first witness, for example, maybe now, or leave this second witness for you, perhaps. This might be an exercise. So let's take a look. Yes, we have time. So let's explore this first witness maybe a little bit more. All right. So we want to find who was this second. So we would like to get select all from get member, probably, right? Get member, right? Oh, nice, GFNM, right? Nice abbreviation. And we would like to, well, let's take a look first. Like, so limit, maybe limit 20, see how many members are, or limit 20, right? Okay, look members. We can, of course, remember, we can do something like this. Select count, right? From get fit. Now member, not checking, but member, right? If you ever need to know, this gives you, there's 184 members total. Again, not a huge gym. I've heard of gyms which have 9,000 members. Of course, that's in January, right? Nobody goes to the gym. Come March, only maybe 100 members remain, right? So, right, 184 members. Okay, so we would like to get this. There's our suspect apparently has this, well, possibly, right? Possibly goes to this gym, right? So we would like to get ID. Right? So select ID. So select all from get fit. Not checking, but just this, right? And where ID member 48Z. So again, we're gonna use ID. So ID, and I'm using this 48Z like this, right? Okay, let's do this. Right. Okay, so we have 3 possible. Looks like one of these. Right. So this looks like gold members 48Z, but there's one silver. Who knows? Maybe. So this person, right? He has an ID 48Z, but he doesn't have the bag. So it looks like this one of these people, or it looks like our suspect, maybe the killer. I don't know. Right, so we are getting extremely close again. So you'll have an easy exercise, but well, probably not everything is that clear cut. So what can we do more? So we could, of course, I'm going to again and membership status. Maybe this person used to be a gold member. We don't know. This actually might be a possibility, but let's do gold, right? And again, when to use square double quotes and single quotes in SQLite. Again, SQLite double quotes versus single quotes, right? Again, remember, usually it doesn't matter. So standard is double quotes around identifiers and single quotes around single string literals, right? So this is so basically the correct way, right? Again, we are used to, so we should be using mostly. This also should be single. Again, it still works. I mean, it still works, right? But this should be correct according to standard, right? Again, because of course it's more convenient to, use both work. So idea, the double quotes are meant to be here for longer column names, identifiers, right? And so you have something like name without with a space or something like that, maybe then. So single quotes would be more correct. Okay, so let's check. Of course, we'll have these two members. And we don't know who one of them might be the guilty person, or maybe they know something, right? So we have two, right? So we have two suspects, looks like, right? And what else can we do? Well, how about the car, right? And maybe that is enough, and maybe then we can just say, okay, they are guilty, and that's it. We don't need the second witness, right? They have the car. The man got into a car with a plate that included H42W. Okay, that should be enough, I think. Well, so we have our driver's license, car make, right? Let's take a look. Maybe it's the getaway driver. Let's take a look. So age, can we do? Is this going to be enough? Age 24, right? Again, I'm copying it, right? So that's why it's double quotes. So select all from car, driver's license, right? Driver's license, DL. So take a look. Okay, age, height, eye color. Oh, looks like a lot of information, of course, right? So where we have plate number. Again, we're going to use like plate number. And in fact, again, this is not something, not a common force. This is kind of it's a made-up exercise. But of course, if you watch enough shows, of course, right, in database work, I mean, these type of queries are quite common, right? So, so we'll do like, and I'll do, I don't know what I'll do this, right? H42. I don't know anything exactly. Something like this, and I'll do, since I'm not sure about start and beginning, I just know the middle, right? What does it say? Included, right? Included. Maybe he's wrong. We'll see if any picks up anything. Do we have? Maybe we'll have the murder. We'll have a murder, right? Okay. So we have the ID and we have 4 cars actually. So it's actually not that easy. So look now, with ID, right? With ID, we would like to do. We'll have to do a join, right? So that's the last thing. I think I'll show you how to do joins, right? You remember how joins, right? We'll want to join with what? What can we join? We can join with person, probably, right? ID, right? Looks like, again, this is the ID is actual raw ID. It's not a social security number, right? So maybe we find there's female, male. I don't know. Again. These two look extremely promising, right? Maybe there's something else going on, right? Maybe there's something else going on, right? So let's see. But it's not. Maybe it's not enough, right? Maybe it's possible that it's not as simple, right? Right. So let's check, right? So let's check. We'll probably need to do a join. We'll need to do a join. Right, we have 2 possible suspects. Maybe we can get our ID here, right? So we'll want to join, or so select all from person, right? Join on what? Join. This is going to be left. Join on driver's license. DL on what? PID, right? Equals DL person ID. Where is it? ID. Is that it? Is that gonna work? And let's check. Nothing. So this doesn't work correctly. So we didn't do it correctly. So let's see. What was it? ID. License ID. Okay, yes, that's more correct. Makes sense. It's not a personal ID, it's a license ID, right? Okay, let's do this. Okay, that's better, right? So we have everybody, and we can use this, right? Where plate number, right? We can use this. you can combine these two queries, right? So I'll copy them together, right? So you can, so this, we follow this natural progression, and we can get this where here, right? So we select all, we join. Remember what's happening when we join. We need to match the ID, right? So we basically are creating, we are joining two tables together, so meaning all rows from one table versus combined with the rows, all rows from the other table. But we want a limit. If you didn't have this limit, I mean this condition, if you didn't have this condition, well, then you have this huge Cartesian join which has everybody will be kind of useless, right? So we need, obviously we need this specific join condition again, right? So license ID, and that's the license ID here. Okay, and let's take a look. Okay, well, that's kind of expected. So it looks like this is a getaway driver, right? So we have the person name, but we are not quite as close as we want, right? So we have we'll probably want to interview these persons, right? Looks like we find Jeremy Bowers, Maxine, right? We know who they are, right? Maybe they are getaway driver, right? So two males, one female, right? Again, not sure which one of those. None of those don't. Oh, so Jeremy Bowers actually is there, right? Ah, but that's our person, right? Of course, we could immediately see that's the guy from here, right? Right, we had these two people, right? Jeremy Bowers, okay, but we could do this join, right? We could do another join, right? We could of course just do it by hand, but let's do it correctly, right? We could do it correctly, and let's try to make a big super join, right? Like this. We join this, and also we can join the in a single a big mega join get fit to member, right? And we need of course again on a person, like I think it was SSN, I believe, right? Let's take a look. Person ID, right? Hard to say what it is. It's most likely a membership. Or maybe the ID. So again, this is a little bit tricky. Let's take a look again. What do they use? Start date, person ID. Looks like it's just general person ID. So we need person ID equals person GFM, right? And dot person ID. Okay, right? So now we'll have, of course, again on. So look at this, it actually picks up exactly Jeremy Bowers, right? Age 50, height 70, looks like extremely suspicious person, right? Maybe he's the guilty one, right? Let's take a look, right? So is he the one? So we join the second one, and the thing is, so when we join this, right, we require that he also, so apparently he's the only one who goes to the gym, right? We could have put also this extra ID. This also should have worked, right? This also would have worked. It shouldn't matter, right? It's here, right? Right, and let's see, did we make, and of course, and, right? So let's fix this. Okay, where like and ID like and equals, so where join. Of course the problem is, of course, plate number is DL, right? And this of course this is a problem, ambiguous column name, right? So what's the problem? Well, what is this ID? This is from GFNM, right? ID, right? And of course GFMN, again, if there's no confusion, it shouldn't be an error, like there's no error here, right? Let's check. Yeah, so there's no error here, no confusion, no need for GF and M, right? So it is possible, of course, right? So Jeremy Bowers is our prime suspect. Well, let's take a look, right? Do we have an interview with him? Maybe, right? So we have his ID, right? So we could just copy it, but of course, I could do this, right? I could, of course, do everything. Like copy this, select ID, not ID, but person ID. Right, so that's his ID, and we can use this as a join. Of course, I could just copy it by hand. You see how quickly this gets quite extensive. We probably want to do some subqueries. Let's see how much time we have. 35 minutes. Okay, so we will want to have interview, right? We could do also, if we were not sure, right? We could do two things, right? If we had IDs, but let's do this. So select all from interview, where person ID equals, like, yeah, this part here again. So we'll put this here, right? Semicolon. We don't need a semicolon here, so we'll put all of this here, like this, right? And I'll put it afterwards, so it goes down like this. So now select. Oh, sorry. So we need this part here. Right, I'm getting tired a little bit, and this should give us the interview with this person. All right, so let's take a look. Where do we get there? Is this all gonna solve a mystery? Surely it's not that easy. Well, remember, we have another witness, right? So we might need something else. Right, look at this here. I was hired by a woman with a lot of money. I don't know her name, but now I know she's 5'5" or 5'7". She has red hair. So this guy, obviously he's guilty, but he's not the main, the one who is actually the brains behind this operation, so to say, right? So she opened SQL Symphony concert 3 times in December 2007. Okay, that's already some nice hints, right? So let's save this, right? She has red hair. Oh, and she drives Tesla Model 6. Okay, that's also a hint, right? So we have quite a few hints. This should be enough. Well, assuming the buck stops here, all right? But we should be able to get this mystery solved pretty soon, right? Maybe I will. Oh, here we go. I was hired by a woman with a lot of money. I don't know her name. All right. Okay, so this is it. Okay. So let's take a look at another witness, right? So we'll need maybe that witness. Maybe let's go to the other witness. We still have some time, and then you should be able to narrow down this mystery, right? So that's already pretty good. Again, of course, this witness is kind of not very reliable, but maybe Tesla Model S, right? So let's take a look at the second witness, right? Annabelle, right? Let's see if we can find this second witness, see what she says. Yes, right? So Annabelle looks like a... So select all from person, where name, like, again, it's more expensive on let's see if is that enough. Nothing like this. Of course I didn't put here, right? We have plenty of Annabelle, so that's not enough. But of course we could do Franklin. We could, of course, again, here there is one on Annabelle Miller, right? And she lives on Franklin, right? So we'll probably want to do the same thing, right? So let's take a look right here. So we could do this and of course the sphere and address, street name, again like, and this again Franklin, again like is more expensive, right? Exact, so Franklin, not like but equals, so we'll do this Franklin Ave, right? It works, so we can get the ID and let's see if we can get her interview, and that should get us pretty close to the right, so we have this interview, right, and we can use this to select all from interview where person ID, right, equals this part here, right? We just need to switch a semicolon. Again, remember, so what's happening, we have a semicolon here, right? So I mean, this is one query, right? Let's see how fast this goes actually, right? Right, okay, so this doesn't look like again, this doesn't look like it doesn't help us actually, right? But this might help us, right? Out last week on January the 9th, so maybe this might be help, right? So again, the killer should be the same one, but this might be interesting that January the 9th, right? This might be a hint, right? So this is out last week on January the 9th. We already have our we have our witness who's already we'll need to have these suspects, right? So we are getting very close, we are getting extremely close, but looks like the second witness is not that useful, right? Because my gym, right, so the first witness is more important, right? Same witness you're talking about, so we already hit the ground on the first witness, so looks like your job, your exercise will be to go by these hints, right, and these are your hints to find. So your task, your exercise, right, will be obviously to find the person, finish this mystery, right? And I'm sure you can do this. All right. So again, the exercise is to finish this murder mystery, right? We have we know it's a woman, don't know the name, right? You have a nice filter, and so red hair and drives Tesla Model S, and also hint SQL concert 3 times. Maybe that's not enough, right? Maybe we'll need something else. So let's take a look. We have also a Facebook event check-in. That might be helpful, maybe, I don't know. But that's probably what we are gonna do for the symphony, right? So yeah, looks doable, right? Nothing too hard, right? Nothing too crazy, right? All right. So we'll continue on a Monday, right? We'll continue this once you have solved the mystery. Again, so what I'll want from you is to enter the SQL queries as how you come up with the solution. So what I'll do now is I will commit this, right? So now to do, find the person who hired the hitman, right? Again, so we know the hints, right? So this is, or these are our hints, right? All right, so I will commit this, control save, right? So there is some Latvian ones, save as UTF-8, right? Maybe some copy paste, right? And I will go here, not playground, but here, let's see, do we have a, I want to save it, actually save as, I want to save it not here, Right, wrong place, right? I want to save it here, GitHub, and we'll save it inside our, let's see here. Here we go. Source, resources, script. Mystery. Okay, now let's take a look. That's not what we want, that's our previous. And here we go. Oh, there we go. Yeah, okay, looks like we have everything here. I will add it. Right, let's try this SQL. Looks like there's something that doesn't like the encoding, right? It looks like it's. I'm saying it's SQL. It should be a UTF-8, but it should still work, right? So I'm going to commit it. Also this here, mystery assignment, right? To do, yeah. All right. And let's see if we reload another encoding. No, it doesn't. Yeah, it likes, I think, to use something from Baltic, so from that, but that's okay, that's fine. So I'll see you, and good luck on the exercise.